So if I come to File, Place, and I'm going to search here, and let's see, I'm going to go to my drive, and there it is, the sketch. And it's hovering around. It's got it in my hand. I click, and I can now grab this thing, and I can, if I do this, this is just straight up cropping it. And if I double in there, I'm moving the image behind it. I'm going to undo, Control Z, Control Z. But if I grab it, and I believe it's if I hold Shift, no. Is it Control? And it's always different between the Mac and the there. If I hold Control, now let's see. If I hold Control, I can do the same, mutation of it. I can change the scale. But if I hold Control and Shift, it won't let me. It keeps it proportionate. Now you can also, I can do this here with that, or I can also come up here and I can play with the proportions, the percentages of something, and say, oh, I want this whole thing to be 50%. And just, play with percentages here. Whoa, so undo. And then once you have this in, like I said, she could take one of these and say, oh, I want this to just be this big floating sort of background thing. And so I can come in here and I can start to change the opacity and the way that it fills. Let's see. I should have brought my glasses because I can't see anything here. Image options, opaque, import file, where's blending window, effects. Hey, why did it find that effect? So here I've got a normal opacity, so I can just play with how, how opaque it is. I can start to play with blending effects, and these have to do with what something does on top of something else. So if I take this and I copy it and I make a second one, I can't see the first one behind it. If I start to play with transparency, it'll start to fade, and I can, whoops. Sorry, I grabbed the wrong thing. I start to play with the opacity, and I can start to get, kind of ghosting if I want that. And it's really good at snapping stuff. It'll snap them to each other. But I can also start to do weird blending effects. Multiply, it's going to multiply anything that's underneath it. Screen, it's going to look for overlay. There's all sorts of, and when you start to get color images, all kinds of weird things start to happen. You can really play with this. But yeah, I can, of course, come in, whoops. As I was saying, oh, she wants to have a kind of a floating image as a background. Ram's like, no, I don't. And she's going to make that all kind of light. It's just really kind of light there. And then this image, she wants to really focus and blow something up. Whoops. So if I zoom out, I can start to see the bigger thing and really start to pull this out, and you can see how it really starts to get big. And so then that starts to be an image in the float, and I can start to layer things, edit, let's see, layout, file, place, import. I'm trying to see if I want to start doing text. I can just click a field and start doing stuff. And it has a little, of course, an editor, and I can, when I open something and get into attributes. Whoops. So, I'm sorry, these windows are not set up with all the things I want, and I'm going to burn up all the time trying to show a tutorial. But these things you can start to manipulate them and have leader lines and all coloration, the whole thing. And so again, the nice thing with this is I can start to lay out a format. I can start to say, hey, I want my images to have a border of a certain size, blah blah blah, and start to differentiate things. I can drop shadows. And again, if I place some temporary files and this is named, and then I come back and I alter the original one and I come and reload, it's just going to update everything for me. And I can do stuff like, hey, I like the size of that. That's not quite the image, but I'm going to do Control C, Control V. I'm going to, whoops, get out of this one. Release it. I'm in the wrong arrow, that's why. If I pick this arrow, it picks the whole frame. If I pick this arrow, it picks content. But so I could just start to duplicate something. Control V. And then what I could do is I could come into this and I could say edit place, and I could, or I'm sorry, file place, and I can put a different image in there, and it'll be in the same, what do I have in here? Rob sketches. I don't know what that is. It's going to be ugly. Let's see. There we go. And so you can start to put in some other stuff, but maintain the same frame and all the pieces that you want. So I could set up a sheet, you know, and then duplicate it, come to my next one, and then put different images. So it's really handy, and it's not going to carry any memory of any of that stuff. Yeah, and so in terms of guides and stuff, it works with Photoshop too. If let's see real quick, if you turn it on and you don't see any rulers here, if you go up to View, look for Rulers, Show Rulers, and once you have that, not only can you sort of track, you know, where things line up, but I can start to grab here and I can pull guidelines. And you can see the guidelines track along, so I can set up a series of guidelines in a format, so now I can snap stuff and move it, you know, and align things to my guidelines, and maintain a consistent layout between sheets.
This way.
And again, I can copy this to the next one. There's one other thing, View. Screen mode, let's see, display performance. Okay, so this is a huge one. I've had students who are working in InDesign, they're like, oh, my file's crashing or it won't work. There's this thing here called display performance under View. And what this is see, it says typical display or fast display or high quality display. If I zoom in to this image, if I can figure out how to zoom in, it doesn't look so good, right? It's like, I thought I scanned it better. Why doesn't it look like that? So I can click this image, and I can right click it and go, if I can get into it, and go into display performance right there. And it's set on use view setting. If I go to high quality, now it's actually going to reference the image and show it. But now it's carrying all that as it shows me. So you use it to check, because sometimes you want to like bring a line or annotate and it's too fuzzy to tell. So I would do it like that and then go and put it back to view setting, which does just this preview, because what will happen is it'll start to bog down and get crazy. Or students will look and say, the images all look terrible. It's like, that's just a placeholder when you do a nice thing. But there's also a preview mode where it will hide preview. There we go. If I go to preview, okay, let me do that again. I did that too fast. It says screen mode. If I go to normal, it shows me all my boxes and all my guides and everything. And if I go to view, screen mode, and I say preview, this is what it's going to look like when I print it. I won't see any of those guides. I just see the border. I don't see the field around it. So you can start to get a sense of how stuff is going to blend and really look before you export to a PDF or send it to a printer or whatever.
Can you do that again?
Yeah, so that is view, screen mode. So that's the whole overall. And normal shows you, it's kind of like editing mode in Word where you can see the paragraphs and corrections. So normal shows you all the junk. And when you go to screen mode, preview, I don't know what slug or presentation are, you know, slug, it punches you if it's not a good thing. I'm not sure. Let's see what slug is. I'm not sure what slug is. You know, what you're going to find with so many of these is there's screen mode. Let's see what presentation is. Presentation just throws it up on the full screen. It's
nice.
Yeah, so it's really good to be able to, you can jump back and kind of see what's going on, get a quick preview, and then come back and move your stuff around and blend and whatever.
How do you add more pages?
Oh, so pages. So right here it says pages. And look, you notice there it's got the master. So I'll show you this real quick, just because this is really good. If I've got an image I really like, I'm going to have a logo, an icon, I can go up to the master. And if I place that on this, as long as all the other pages have the same, I just can't, well, we're just going to leave it like that because I can't figure this out. I'm not doing them in the right order. Anyway, that's the way it's going to be. I work on it. I'm used to my Mac. It's been a while. Son of a gun! Stay there. Okay, let's see if this showed up. It did not show up, probably because the master's not applied to this. I'm going to apply the master. Apply master to pages, to pages, all pages. Okay. Son of a gun. Oh, do you know why? Because this is on the wrong side. Here, let me do something real quick. Let me copy this and do it on this page too. This is set, the master is set up as a 2-page layout. And so if you look at the page down here, it's showing that this one is this side of it. So now let's see if that worked. Ah, see, that shows up there. Now to make more pages, I just right click and I can say insert pages, duplicate spread. If I do duplicate spread, now I get another page. It's just the same. And the way InDesign works is it starts thinking that you're laying out the cover, right? So I've got the cover here, and then it's going to do 2-page spreads that are the inside, the outside. So if I come here and I say insert pages, I say one after the second one, it's going to put one in there. And notice it's got that little logo. If I come to master and say, hey, I didn't want it on these ones. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to come back to these. Ah, now it's disappeared on this one. So you can, again, you can set up kind of some format in your master that you want. And so here I can also just come and I can select them like this and say copy. Maybe, no? If I do Control C, click Control V, it doesn't want to do it that way. It wants me to do this and say duplicate. But there's a duplicate. And duplicate is different than just insert blank page. Now here's another tip for you. If you come up to your master, you can use this to lay out guidelines on it. And notice it'll let you do independent stuff. So one page is a little different than the other. They could be the same. But whatever I do with these guidelines, then when I come back, they're going to show up. So they'll be on every page under, as a master thing, and I can go back to the master. So I could get rid of the ones that I had placed on here, and I'm just going to see the ones from the master page. So I could go say, hey, that one's not lining up quite right. Let me go back and tweak that, move that a little bit. And now it's going to be in that same place. It's going to update on all the other sheets. So yeah, that's how you control the pages. So you can imagine, wow, I could have a document with tons. Or this could be my 24 by 36s and a couple small, whatever. You can put any number, any amount of imagery, and on and on and on and on. So between Photoshop to capture the images, to scan them in, to tweak them,